Was that a new song? No, that is actually off. That is Adventures of the Three. That is the name track for the 3-pack of chiptune Fantasy that I had done a couple of years ago. The composer that was working on all that on that particular project for me, he had other life commitments, and so he was supposed to do a total of 15 songs. He got through 6, and then apparently he got offered like a professional music job, but his professional music job prevents him from producing on his own. But he told me, he's like, if he ever doesn't have that job and that restriction. But I mean, I get it. He's really, really good. He's really, really talented, and they don't want him he's working on a video game soundtrack. I guess maybe I should reach out to him, because it's been a couple of years. So maybe he's done and he just forgot. I am next week, as long as my hands stay good, my feet stay good, and my eyes stay good. Then I'm gonna try to compose some stuff and have some stuff sent out. Today I'm back looking at Where Winds Meet, and I'm more than happy to look at this game. I do have to disclose, as I've disclosed in the title of today's stream. Today's stream is sponsored, but what I will preface that with is the people that have known me for years know you can sponsor me, and I'm still gonna say whatever I think about the game. I think there were some problems with Where Winds Meet, and one of the biggest problems with Where Winds Meet was, quite honestly, the slow roll. When you have a game that releases in China or Korea or anywhere else in the world, and then they it's been out for like a year or 18 months, and they decide to throttle content. Throttling content could very easily be the death of your game. And the reason why it could be the death of your game is your American player base, your European player base, they play till the end of the content. But we're as Westerners, we are very impatient. And I noticed this while I was on vacation. Westerners are so impatient. Asians, they get to Disney World like 3 hours before it opens, and they just wait, and they're patient. And I think that causes a very large problem with trying to port games that are going to have natural throttles. Now, I do respect the idea. I would love to go back to Where Winds Meet, but their support is useless and refuses to delete a Steam character I never created. It's blocking me from linking my account with Steam so I can play in Linux easier. Yeah, that right there, that is a problem. Like, absolutely. If support is bad, they lost a person. Like, right? They lost a person who maybe would have checked out the game. So it is what it is. I heard Where Winds Meet is close to catching up, or the first story is finished. Yeah. The problem is that they need to. This Realms has the same problem that Frostpaw has. You can't link the account, although you should be able to. Oh, you can't delete the character. So you can't link. Well, no, you should be able to link your account. But I could understand if you've tried, you've run it. If it wasn't user friendly, then I understand what your problem was. Now, I know a lot of people had an issue. Oh, Where Winds Meet is low-key the best game in a long time. I hope a Western company does a game like Where Winds Meet in a Western medieval fantasy and without the time gating, because I don't think we're going to get a traditional MMO in a long time. You are absolutely 100% correct. There are a lot of people who don't understand this concept right here. This concept here was so good, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. The fact that you can play your storyline in solo mode, but then you get you get an online mode as well. I think this is the direction massive multiplayer persistent world role-playing games needs to go. Because people are mad. They're like, well, that's not what an MMO should be. Fine, then we won't call it an MMO, an MMORPG. We'll call it a massive multiplayer, persistent world role-playing game. The fact that this mode is respectful. Oh, that's the problem. The game created a default character with a random name. Now it doesn't let you link because you have a character on both accounts. That's Ralms's problem, and you can't link if you already have an existing character. It doesn't let you. But no, I think their idea of this world splitting was so good. What was just amazing. I'm actually shocked more people didn't like it. One of the chief complaints we always have is people say, well, I'm not free to work on my story because of all the other people in the world around me. Well, they fixed that problem. I do agree with what you said, though. It would be great if a game company looked at this and did a more traditional, fantasy, medieval fantasy, Lord of the Rings, Tolkien style setting. You could do a blend of different lores and different genres and do a fantasy base. Absolutely. I was thinking the other day it would be really nice if they shared that system so all games can use it and iterate. Add in some better progression tracking, and it's a good step forward. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think all too often, especially reading everybody's favorite creative director, reading his lawsuit yesterday, and he kept just constantly using the trade secrets. Dude, not every single thing you put together is a trade secret. Some things are quite literally just game development. Like, assets aren't trade secrets, and calling them trade secrets is such a disservice, right? Trying to make everything a trade secret, it just baffled me. Like, why are you saying everything's a trade secret? Now, I get it. Steven Sharif, he just can't bring himself to be quiet. He felt it necessary last night to once again try to control the narrative. As we've been discussing on my Discord about Ashes of Creation, if even 1% of what was said about Steven is true, there's no redemption for him. Like, and I respect what he tried to do. He tried to change the genre. He tried to be the MMO messiah. He tried to be the savior of Western MMOs. Like somebody said, we're not going to get a traditional MMO for a long time. We're going to get Chrono Odyssey this year, maybe. I don't want to say we're definitely going to get it. We maybe will get Chrono Odyssey this year. Hopefully. ArcH 2 is supposed to come this year. But I don't think, realistically, I don't think ArcH 2 is going to scratch the itch for the ArcH players, which is really shocking to me because I wish they wouldn't, for people that are visually impaired, I wish they wouldn't do that. If I set it to the lower level, I only want to see the lower level stuff. Not the one I want. Do I not have any? How do I not have any of the ones in the underground unlocked? I am early today. I'm early today because my wife is allergic to everything, and she got into some. She got into something. So as soon as she got home, we did the couple of bits and pieces of house chores that needed to get done, and then she took some Benadryl and she's gonna zonk out for several hours. We had to treat the hot tub because we were gone for 5 days, and water gets skunky. How could it possibly scratch the arcade itch when it's a single player game? And people need to stop saying it's a single player game. It's not a single player game, and I don't know where that came from. Like, that right there is one of the reasons why I'm so disenfranchised with my peers in content creation. My peers turn around and say it's a single player game. It's not a single player game. It's a game that focuses on the single player experience rather than focusing on the open world experience that was in ArcH 1. That in no way makes it a single player game. There's world bosses, there's trade runs, there's guild level content. Right, but that's not, it didn't come from their last trailer. Yeah, there's still world bosses, there's still trade runs, there's still guild war content. They said it focuses on the single player experience, but that doesn't mean it is a single player game. That was kind of like with this one. I had done my research on this game, and then people were like, no, Jay, it's a single player game, it's a co-op game, it has no open world. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. And then lo and behold, when I got into the game, it has a open world. Now, it's not an open world the way other people. Why wasn't any of that talked about in the last trailer? I don't know. When was the last trailer? I mean, this fight is very, I hate this fight. It's a very good fight, but I hate this fight. Did they finally stop capping levels? I don't know if they've completely stopped, but I know that we're getting closer to caught up. Yeah, I could use the time slow from the bow. I just completely suck with aiming the bow. Plus, I don't think I I don't think I finished a very good bow before I stopped playing. Usually I kill one of them. Oh, these guys are all level 72. That's why I wasn't able to kill one of them before we went into the... next section. Yeah, no, I talked about that right at the beginning. When you port a game over, putting the Western audience doesn't want a bunch of how shall we say, time gates. We are as gamers, the Western audience is very impatient. We don't want time gates for the sake of time gates. If we're not against time gates, sorry, I'm still struggling to get my get all of my bots up. 1 second. Oh. I think one of my problems was nope, not that. I need to finish. Sometimes, man. Sometimes you got to be smarter. You got to be smarter than what you're working with. I need to sit down one day now that I pretty much have use of my hands all the time. I need to fix my other bots. The Twitch bot works. There you go. Yep, there you go. That link will take you. I saw Nephis, he's got a really cool bot on his channel. That guy is doing amazing. That guy is doing just straight amazing work. As a content creator, he's absolutely crushing it as a creator. Like, real talk, no bullshit. I don't know the guy, never talked to the guy, but he is doing just absolutely absolutely amazing work. He got Jason Karamanis to call in again last night, although you are the company that you keep. I've always believed that. I've always said that. You are the company you keep. And I think in a very strong reality, Steven Sharif is looking for the sympathy card, and you got in bed with a bunch of snakes, and now you're upset because you got in bed with a bunch of snakes, and the snakes are all biting each other and killing each other, and then it turns out this Robert Dawson guy isn't a billionaire. Finding out this Robert Dawson guy, he's 80 million invested into Ashes of Creation, and now he's having to leverage equity on margin in order to like stay afloat. And it just shocks me, man. All these people, all these Ashes of Creation fans are so excited because they think with Jason Karamanis and Robert Dawson and the new company that Ashes is going to come to fruition. They don't care about the game. They're not gamers. They got sold an idea by Steven Sharif that the game was going to be worth billions. Put an S on that. There you go. They got sold this idea. And I think the true problem is we need to have people that are interested in making video games. We can't have people interested in making money. All he had to do was make a game, though. Well, you're right. All he had to do was make the game. But as we're finding out, he was being meddled with for about the last 2 years. And let me say this. I've done this so many times on my show. I'm not gonna do it again unless people are like, yes, absolutely, please do it again. Project management. You can't successfully manage a project if every 2 weeks you're having to sweat payroll. But if every 2 weeks you're having to sweat payroll because your chief investor is threatening to withhold payroll, then then what you've built isn't sustainable. And that's where, like, Steven played the sympathy card in the audience at Nephis' show again last night. And it's like, dude, there's no sympathy for you. Like, you're incompetent and you fucked up. Like, you're a bad businessman. It was something more difficult than selling Zango juice. It wasn't easy. You actually had to work for the first time in your life, and now you got screwed, but you screwed other people out of $100 million. So, okay, you asked, I'll do it real quick. So the problem here, when you do project management, there's two effective ways to do project management. And what Intrepid Studios was trying to do is, here was Steven, and he had one little dollar sign of money, so it only takes him to this point on the timeline. And then there's Robert Dawson back here, who keeps refilling that a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Well, the problem is now you're project managing to the next interval. But you can't project manage that way. Here's where the finished product is. So I need this many dollar signs to get there. If I don't have that many dollar signs, I have to reduce scope, reduce scale, reduce everything so that I can get to a product that has its own independent income stream. Like, for example, Ashes of Creation very easily could have become a much more sustainable game if they had gotten one zone functional, right? Completely. One zone functional. Then that would have been their proof of concept that, hey, we know what we're doing. We have a clue as to what we're trying to accomplish. But they never did that.
Who sent you sneaky little things?
They had 50 systems. They had 50 systems and none of them worked 100%. Where I feel bad for all those employees is because the employees got screwed. And now Steven has changed the MMORPG space forever like he wanted to do. He has in fact changed it forever. The problem is he didn't change it for the better, he changed it for the worse. Now the next time a small developer like Eternal Tombs, they finally get, let's say they finally get a little bit of money coming in, and I believe his name is Josh. He starts trying to onboard some employees. Well, he's a really small studio with not a lot of secure funding. He's gonna struggle to get people to leave stable paycheck jobs to come work for him, because they're gonna be like, those employees are gonna be like, well, I remember the Ashes of Creation story. Would they have took the game away from him if they had a good build? Yes. And the reason why they would have taken it away from Steven in any way, shape, or form is, remember, investors don't care about your product. Investors care about one thing: the return on investment. In my own past, people have come to me with business ideas, and sometimes I've put money into their business ideas, and sometimes I haven't, right? I don't always automatically put money into business ideas just because you're my friend. Because I tell people, I tell people, friends are friends, family are family, business partners are business partners, and it's a one meat menu. If I'm your business partner, our friendship goes on pause. That's my rule. That's a one meat menu. Which meat are we serving? The moment we're family and you ask me for money, I say, hey, look, for the duration that I'm backing your business, don't try to pull on the, well, hey, little brother. No, I'm not your little brother right now. I'm your business partner. Not to sound like a dickhead, but I'm giving you $50,000 for a business venture. You've promised me $13,000 by the end of the year in return. So you've promised me $63,000 by the end of the year. Don't little brother me, don't cousin me, no. Money in my hand. Because then if you can't deliver, if you start saying, well, I'm not 100% sure, well, then you're not a sure bet. So I don't want to put money into it. Other people, I've been friends with them. They've said, hey man, I've got this house I want to flip. I can't, I'm 20,000 short on being able to finance it. I say, okay, I'll loan you 20,000. How long is it going to take? The whole flip entirely is going to take 6 months. So I'm going to loan you 20,000. What's the current bank rate? I said, how about this? I can give you a better rate than the bank on 50,000, so you can tell the bank you need $30,000 less. Yeah, cool. It's never bit me in the ass with those people because I do my own research. If they had a good product, yes, they still would have taken it away from Steven because they don't give a shit about an MMO. They give a shit about return on investment. What's wrong? You're not a ghost. But no, I think Steven didn't know what he was doing. And Steven, in his lawsuit, he said his technical skill set, or he alluded to his knowledge as a game developer. Dude, you don't have any knowledge as a game developer. You've never launched a successful product. I don't know which, and I'm so shocked, man. His lawyer got her Juris Doctorate from Harvard. She's a Harvard-educated lawyer. And his legal brief reads like garbage. His legal brief has a bunch of fluffy, feel-good, like, verbiage in it. They stole his company. Their scheme. Dude, you opened yourself up to liability of defamation by using the word scheme and not putting the word alleged. Now, after I finished the show yesterday, I called a lawyer friend of mine, sent him the 3 lawsuits, because we bullshit about cases all the time. And there's one avenue Steven potentially has to, I'm not going to say get his company back, but look like the least shitty person in the deal. But his lawyer didn't lay any of that framework out. I don't know what the hell that lawyer was doing. The lawyer didn't lay out alter ego. The lawyer didn't lay out insider trading. The lawyer a little bit laid out junior creditor not properly notifying, but they didn't delineate it. So I think Steven's gonna file a case in federal court and end up losing his ass. I think he's going to end up fairly screwed. And it sucks for all of us. Because Ashes of Creation was supposed to be the game that changed the genre. And now we're looking at Where Winds Meet is never going to change the genre. It's going to change the genre for the worse. Yeah, his lawyer is like Pam Bondi. Like, okay, so you can't open this door yet. Got it. And I feel terrible. I'm just so happy this all came to light and it's just swiftly over. This could have easily been a situation where they cheap out on staff, create a shitty game, and drag everything along for a decade. Astro, that's exactly what Robert Dawson and his group of investors will do. As soon as they know that they have a clean title, they will outsource this game to a Korean or Korean or Chinese studio. They will rush it to completion, and then they won't care about they quite literally won't care about the longevity of the game. They have alleged, Steven has alleged, they're planning on a September 2026 launch. Did I hear about him paying off the gold sellers? I didn't know he paid them off. I know that he unbanned. DA has said, and you have to take everything DA ever says with a grain of salt. Not just a grain. You need the whole Utah salt flats. But DA produced DMs, which again can be faked, that Steven unbanned him, and Steven knew that he was selling gold. So,
Oh, here's where I left it. Too much to drink.
Parthos, who it's still ass early for his time zone, he talked about how he wouldn't have been surprised if Steven was selling gold in order to help fund the game.
That's his thing. You look new.
I've seen what you people can do, but I
But-
didn't know this was the place.
And again, we only have Jason Karamanis's
Up ahead is the two-realm bridge.
word on this, and
You sure
I don't
some
trust
depth
his
of the
word
arch-ghost of our side?
at all.
Some talk to
Just like that?
Just listening to the way he talks about people,
Wait.
nobody should, like, I love the fact that Jason Karamanis has gone off on Nephis' show multiple times,
Anyway,
because
go through it yourself.
gonna take all that,
It's full of our
gonna create a
twists and
soundboard of it, gonna just publicize it, because those are his words. That's not me saying he said this. This is me just putting, and that way anybody who ever Googles Jason Karamanis again can see exactly what this man has said. And then they'll be like, oh, Jason Karamanis is offering to loan me stories. Well, this is how he talks about people, and here's all the times he sued people. Maybe I don't want to get involved with him. And he's the kind of individual, if you know me, I believe in karma. I never wish ill upon people. Like a couple of weeks ago, a guy that made a death threat against me on a Discord, I let him off with a half-ass apology, because I know that his life sucks. His kids are gonna grow up to hate him, because if he's that kind of an asshole, karma's gonna get him. I don't gotta get him. Karma will get him. He will reap what he sows. But what's funny about it is I never wish ill on anyone unless they're a bad person. Jason Karamanis deserves every single ounce of negative karma. He talks derogatorily about Steven's mother. Now, as mad as you are about a person, saying that she should have had an abortion because she birthed the devil's sons, like, dude, you're not a gentleman. And if you're not a gentleman, you're not a man. And if you're not a man, you're a boy. And a boy goes off on that. Like, if you watch The Kingsman, manners maketh the man. Like, if you were wrong, then why are you acting like literally a chody little bitch? I resent Sharon Sharif because she introduced me to her son, and her son scammed me out of $13 million. Boom. You remained a gentleman. I resent her. You're allowed to resent an elder, allowed to resent a woman. I resent her. She introduced me to this man, her son, and he scammed me out of $13 million. Now you've told the story, and you still look like a gentleman. He made a homophobic statement last night, and you always know the person knows. You know the person knows they've just made a homophobic statement the moment they turn around and they say, and I say that, where they're like, what the hell? They're like, oh, and I'm not a homophobe. Look, man, you just made a homophobic statement. You're a homophobe. That's fine. If you make a gay bashing joke, if you make a gay bashing joke and then you suddenly backpedal, you have no integrity. And like Daniel Day-Lewis in the movie Gangs of New York said, you are neither hot nor cold. You are lukewarm, so I will spew you from my mouth. Look, man, you're lukewarm. You have no integrity. You're not a man. You're a boy. You're a child. You're a child with a lot of money. I would rather be me with less money than you than have to be you. Because I don't want to be you. I don't want to be a person like that. I give to people. When I give back, I match people's energy. If you're a good, like, if you're a good person, yeah, I rather just stand by what I said. I always stand by what I say. And if I'm wrong, I correct it. Like, okay, I was wrong. But I try to have my ducks in a row. That's why I don't talk about things. Like, people will be like, well, what do I think about Starlink? Or what's the best mouse? Or how do I tweak my router? And I'm like, I don't know how to do that shit. I can give you the Jalan idiot guide to what I've done to make things work. But if somebody comes along and says, there's a better way to do it, I'll try it. Actually, if somebody comes along and tells me there's a better way to do it, I'll copy and paste what they tell me. I'll kick it over to Delaron, who's been my friend for 25 years, and he's a computer guy, and I'll say, is this what I should be doing? And he'll either say, yes, you should, or he'll be like, no, not you, man. Just don't touch your buttons. And I'm cool with that. Look, yes, yeah, I said some stuff that could be racist, but my friend is black and my cousin is half black, so I'm not racist. Okay, well then, how about this? You know, when people say stuff like that, I'll be like, how about this then? I'll meet you halfway. Why don't we go get your black friends and your cousin, and why don't you say exactly what you just said in front of them and see how that goes. Let's see if that works out for you. Wow. Oh. Oops. That was fun and exciting. Yeah, Steven tried to go to the sympathy card first. Which is just sad, man, because, like, Steven's made those comments like, well, it was about me protecting my people. Dude, you knew. Steven, your own statements show you were the CEO. You knew that you didn't have money back in whatever, December, I think is when he said it started. You as the CEO had every piece of authority necessary to issue the warn notice. You didn't even need to consult with the rest of them. You're the CEO. You could have just issued the warn notice and moved on. And they probably would have been pissed at you. And then the thing that made me just laugh at him, completely laugh at him, was when he said, and after a meeting, Robert Dawson cornered me and forced me to sign 30 or 40 pages without reading them. Then why didn't you simply sign under duress on all of them? Let him make you think you're signing it, and you sign under duress on all of them, hand it to him, run your ass to an office, lock yourself in the office, or a phone, or call the police and just say, I was just physically accosted, forced to sign documents. I signed them all under duress, or UD, and then file a police report. if the guy is as bad as you say he is, then the question is, did you know he was that bad? And if you knew he was that bad, why didn't you seek legal relief? Because again, Steven comes from a family of people who all they care about is other people's money. Zango juice, marketing, real estate. Why the fuck didn't you why didn't you do what a man does? All you had to do is contact the police. I'm being physically threatened. Remember, a threat of physical violence is a crime. I don't, and that's where I blame the American school systems. The threat of physical violence is assault. That's it. You do not have to actually physically hurt somebody, but it has to be a bona fide threat of physical violence. If you were forced to sign and you signed under duress, you've literally closed that loop. Could he have signed? No, you have to put, if you're gonna sign, you put, and you're under duress, you sign either Jalan under duress or Jalan UD under duress. That way, first of all, what's gonna happen is, and if anybody sees that, they're gonna say,
Should I be scared?
what is this UD for? And then you're gonna have to be there to justify what the UD there is for. If you sign under duress, the signature is not valid. But again, that's more of that bullshit where you're like, oh, he forced me to sign. So why did he threaten you with physical violence at a previous time? Well, you're supposedly a millionaire. If he had threatened you with physical violence previously, then why didn't you hire a security guard? Why didn't you hire a former Air Force officer that would have walked in and been your personal assistant? Excuse me, I need to talk to Steven alone. I'm sorry, I don't know you. I don't leave the room until Steven tells me to leave the room. Well, I'm telling you to leave the room. Well, the only way I'm leaving this room without Steven is if you make me. I invite you to try. I just have to transfer my perk card from Illinois to whatever California requires for security, which is probably... she stole my clothes. Honestly, it's probably just fingerprints and a photo ID. Security guard license, unarmed security guard licensing is generally just an employment card. Locksmithing too in my state. You have locksmithing tools. If you're carrying locksmithing tools, you have to have a perk card in Illinois. Goose News, honk honk. You're right, Goose News. But I do have to give it to I do have to give a lot of credit to NetEase. And I never thought that I would be in a state where I would be giving credit to NetEase. They have done a great job of monetizing their games. NetEase was always known for pay to win. I think we can, I think we can all agree that NetEase was very, very much known for pay to win garbage games. Yeah, NetEase has turned what the fuck in such a positive way. Like, they did Marvel Rivals, if I recall correctly. They did this, and they did Once Human. So in the last 2 years, NetEase has become a publisher to watch for. I'm actually really excited. Maybe these companies are figuring out Westerners will give you a lot of money, if you just treat them fairly. Now, again, and when I say this, it makes people mad, and I'm sorry. The best monetization is box price and monthly sub, no cash out. And the reason why is because it gives the company a reliable source of income that they can predict in real time. They can predict every minute of every day what their minimum income for the next 30 days is. I know a lot of people say they don't like a monthly sub because they say it's so expensive. Well, and again, I'm not trying to be an elitist jerk when I say this, but if you can't afford $15 a month on a monthly sub for your entertainment, then then what you're lacking isn't $15 a month. What you're really lacking is time. Because if you can't pay subs help to keep the shitbags to a minimum. That is also true. Box price and sub helps to keep the shitbirds to a minimum. And you know what? It's okay if you don't appeal to everybody. Now, having made a great many Brazilian friends over the years, I have no problem with the idea of having a regional server for South America where the box price is cheaper, the sub is cheaper, but you're only allowed to play on that regional server. You can't pay. I meet them halfway. I 100% support Brazilian players because their currency is different, their economy is different. Let them pay, if the box price is 50, let them pay 15 for the box. If the monthly sub is 15, let them pay $3 American for the sub. But put them on a Brazilian server. Well, I want to play with my American friends. Then you pay the American price. You want to play, the game will be in your native language, it'll be localized. You get to play the game. But if you want to play up in America with your American friends, then get the American version. An anti-fraud manual. Go to the South Gate. Okay. I wish Eastern Europe could get similar treatment like you mentioned for Brazil, though it wouldn't be as low. Again, I'm not against the idea of Eastern Europe getting the same treatment. I'm not against the idea of, like, personally, Russian players should stay on a Russian server, a CIS server. I have no problem with Eastern Europe getting a lower box price monthly sub. But the problem is, at some point, you got to make sure that all of these things remain profitable. Like, yeah, you can peanut butter spread the costs out a little bit, but to localize the game, you have cost. To be realistic, you need fluent, like one of my fosters is fluent in Portuguese. So she could work, like if they're short staffed today, she gets to work, she could log in and then they could say, hey, we need you to log out of your American terminal, log into your Brazilian terminal, and we need you to GM down in Brazil today because we're short staffed. But now you're paying an American worker American wages to GM on a Brazilian server where You know what I'm saying? You're going to incur extra cost. And that doesn't necessarily pan out. Again, I think a lot of gamers forget businesses are businesses. They're in business to make money. Like, that's the reason why Robert Dawson and Jason Karaminas and Karen and those other two elderly people that invested $2 million in, again, like I said, Ashes of Creation, Steven did so much shady shit. I'm gonna say this. I don't personally believe Steven is smart enough to understand his ass is in a sling. If your neighbors gave you $2 million, okay, and they put it into your bank account so you could invest it and make it look like your money, then Uncle Sam is going to show up and say, we would like our gift tax, because the gift tax, I forgot what the gift tax is. I think is it 19,000 now? $19,000. So 38,000 for a married couple splitting gifts. So if they had given you $38,000, you could do what you did. But if they gave you $2 million, well, you're gonna go to jail, because that's a sizable amount of taxes that you didn't pay. And so they would have to, let me back up. I was wrong. I forgot about the 709. Again, it's the form 709. You would have to fill out the form 709 so that you wouldn't exceed, you'd have to tell the IRS, we have received 2 million of our lifetime 13.6 million from these people. I apologize. I'd forgotten about the form 709. It's not, you don't exceed it in 1 year. You pay tax on what you exceed in a lifetime, but you have to report it. But now that's going to become the problem. Did you report the $2 million gift on a form 709? If they didn't, there's problems. That's why we got to get the scumbags out of video game development. Like the Fun Pimps, the makers of 7 Days to Die. They did everything up and up, above board. The only people that got mad at the Fun Pimps, the Xbox users, because the Fun Pimps weren't distributing 7 Days to Die on Xbox, because as the game developers in my community have told me, and again, I'm not a game developer. I'm a project manager. I'm a product manager. I'm not a game developer. A person who, the people that have the skill set necessary to build a game on PC aren't necessarily the people with the skill set that know how to port that game to Xbox or PlayStation or Switch or anything else. And that process, as I've been told, requires people with a very specific skill set, and it takes approximately $1 million. Approximately $1 million, because you have to, something you constantly have to be updating your port to their requirements. So you could be almost done. They change the requirements. They don't care. You now have to go back, do it all over again to meet the new requirements. Again, I'm not a game developer. Ask Thor. He is. He's the first, second generation Blizzard employee. He might know. But when the Fun Pimps IP got put into bankruptcy court, the distribution rights, they had to stop game development and go recover their IP. And now I believe they've brought the people in-house to manage the port. That's not scumbag behavior. That's a company that's clearly put all of the money back in the game. I mean, yeah, you could argue that if the Fun Pimps decided on a direction for the game would be bigger, better, but they keep reiterating. That's a fine argument, and I would concede the argument to you. I wouldn't make that argument. You're absolutely right. If they had picked a direction and blazed the trail, 7 Days to Die would be a bigger, better, more entertaining game. Absolutely. But they've chosen to go the route they've gone, and they've reiterated on things a bunch of times. Just like Rail, I think Rail secretly loves sending me the updates to Once Human, where they're completely revamping the game. I think he knows that I develop a twitch in my left eye, because like I know everything about Once Human, and then they changed the game, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Shen Hour. There we go. Speaking of NetEase, I wonder why they dropped Ghostcrawler's MMO. Do you think they lost hope? Well, hold on. Help me out here. Did something else happen? I thought Ghostcrawler was Riot. I thought Riot was developing Ghostcrawler's MMO. Did Ghostcrawler go to NetEase and then NetEase shit canned him as well? Subs do help with making the barrier of entry for people making bots or making hacks. What I will say is that some people neglect to realize a good portion of bots from third world countries are using compromised credentials. They're using stolen credit cards. I know I got made fun of over on the Ashes of Creation Discord, and they're like, I can't believe Jalan is so stupid. He's saying that a lot of the bots are from stolen credit cards. It's like, literally, you dumb fuck Muppet, do a Google search. Jagex, the makers of RuneScape, they literally wrote an article to their community about how stolen credit cards were impacting them. Like, it wasn't a matter of my opinion. I didn't make this shit up. I literally read their article. So there's a game developer of one of the largest games ever. They've got a Guinness Book of World Record for the most accounts created. They literally said we have this problem, but the no-betters on the Ashes of Creation Discord are like, Jalan's stupid. That doesn't happen. That's why you can't talk to some people's kids, man. As far as Ghostcrawler's MMO, the reason why Riot shit-canned their MMO, people say he was fired by Riot, but I don't think he was. He tweets and is very positive about Riot's MMO. No, Ghostcrawler wasn't fired by Riot. Ghostcrawler left Riot, and then they evaluated... I'm going to call it the game design document, the Tiger Team notes. I don't know what they call it. I don't know if they've ever released what they evaluated. But they evaluated what Ghostcrawler had developed. And what they said was, we don't like that. We don't want to move forward with that. We want to move forward with an MMO, but not that. That's kind of like the best way to go about it. It's kind of like what Sony Online Entertainment did with EQ Next, except they didn't bother to do it until they'd already made a ton of money on Landmark, which again was more of that shady, shitty behavior. I respect a company that says, look guys, we can't make this fun. We're not happy with the direction we've gone. That's exactly what should, that is, if anybody knows anything about project management, that is exactly what should happen at the 30% meeting. At the 30% meeting, you come in, you look at what's been built, you consider what's been built, and then you say, you know what? We're just going to terminate because we don't think this project is worth going. We don't feel it's good to put any more money into this project because we don't think it's going to get to where we want it to. That happened with Civ Online. Jake Song left XL Games to work on Civ Online, and at the 30%-ish stage, Sid Meier's studio was like, nah, we're gonna not move ahead. That's what you should do. It's like you're building a house, you dig the hole, you pour the foundation's cracked. Don't build a house on top of a cracked foundation. Look at it and say, we're gonna stop. Maybe we stop. Oh shit, I didn't mean to hit you. Don't call the cops. Maybe we stop, we dig the concrete out of the hole, we try again. Or maybe we figure out we're trying to build in a swamp and we shouldn't build houses here. Whatever the reason, whatever the direction, that's a good thing. Does it suck for EQ fans that were hoping? Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to see people pour foundations when it's freezing below zero. I watched them lay concrete for the school's new back road, and I watched them lay concrete when it was 7 degrees outside. And I said to my wife, I said, I bet you by February, the top layer of that concrete is going to be flaky and look like shit. It's flaky and it looks like shit. There's water mixture in the concrete. At 7 degrees, that water turns to ice crystals faster than the concrete cures. And then when it warms up, the ice melts and expands. Now, the inner part of the concrete is fine. In a foundation, it's okay. You just got to make sure you come along and scrape the flake off. But on a road, you're driving on the flake. You don't want it. You don't want it flaky. Guess what? They're repouring it. They're resurfacing it. You don't resurface concrete. But whatever. Whatever the contractor, because public schools are a public contract. Whatever the contractor gets out of it. Oh no, I'm not betting on no cockfighting. I'll have that one fan will show up. It'll be like, every time I come in here, Jelana's abusing animals. But no, I think we need, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we need more games like Chrono Odyssey. We need more like Chrono Odyssey, if you remember, we should be 6 months into Chrono Odyssey. We should be 6 months into Chrono Odyssey. 4 months into Chrono Odyssey. They did their beta. They listened to the feedback and they said, oh my, the players are really, really unsatisfied. So what'd they do? Did they rush it into production? No, they said, what we're gonna do now, since you guys are so unsatisfied, what we're going to do is we're going to put it back. We're not even going to do like open beta. We're not going to do open development. what we're going to do is we're going to go back into closed development, and we're going to build a game worthy of our players. And they literally haven't leaked anything since they went back into closed development. They've been working since last July. ArcAge 2. ArcAge 2 is a little scary for a couple of reasons. Number one, XL Games doesn't have the freedom to develop what they want to develop. XL Games is owned by 53% of XL Games is owned by Kakao. So that means Kakao has the controlling interest. Jake's Song has departed the company. I don't know how successful ArcAge 2 will be without Jake's Song. They made posts on Twitter with improvements. Have they? Because is that recent? Because as of recently, I'd seen them. I hadn't seen them showcase anything on Twitter. They talked about, like, somebody sent them Tim Hortons or something. I saw them making, like, friendly posts. I've seen them make the posts like, we're hard at work, we're working on this, we're taking your feedback, but I haven't seen them actually post meat. Have they posted some meat? Like, this is what we've changed? Did they? Okay, hold on one second then. Let's see. Search. Chrono Odyssey. 22 January. That was last year. Sharing. Oh, they did on the 11th of February, they did developer notes. Okay, so this is all pretty recent. 9 February, 3 February. Yeah, so this is all in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, the one I'd seen before that was 19 January, where Seng Tae said, I'm the executive producer. This is my first time greeting everybody. Yeah, and then there's the Tim Hortons donut one. So yeah, it looks like in the last. So it looks like the good. This is me guessing. This isn't like from them saying it. As a former marketing person, since they've shown work in progress, weapon swap on 3 February, 9 February, a full developer note on 11 February. I think we're getting close. To me, when you start releasing work in progress stuff, you're getting kind of close. What you're trying to do is you're trying to churn the waters a little bit, like you're trying to get the fish to notice. So, speaking of feedback, I'm not sure whether or not this is anecdotal or more widespread. Are we in the time of toxic positivity? By that I mean when developers ask for feedback and people tell them it's great even though it's shit. That is absolutely toxic positivity. As I've said, and I'm going to jump to my chalkboard here. You are always going to have a spectrum of people, right? And what you're going to have is you're going to have the people who hate you for no reason. And whatever that number is, we'll say 20%. Don't worry about those fucking people. Did they say quarter 1 of 2027? Oh, damn. So they're gonna put Arcade Chronicles to quarter 4 of this year, and Chrono Odyssey's gonna bump a full another year. That's great then. That's actually amazing. If they do Arcade Chronicles at the beginning of quarter 4, and then they were to do Chrono Odyssey at the end of quarter 1, that would give Arcade Chronicles a solid 6 months without an in-house competitor. That absolutely crushes Ashes of Creation's nutsack of any attempt to launch in September. But you're going to have 20% of the people who hate you, and you're going to have 20% of the people who love you. Disregard these people altogether. They're going to hate you no matter what you do. And here's the funny part, and it sounds really strange. Disregard those people completely. They're White Knight fanboys. You could shit on a bun and serve it to them, call it a shit burger, and they'll eat it and they'll say, I love the way this tastes. They're going to love everything you do. Now, maybe the White Knight fanboys don't quite make 20%. That's fine. I'll concede. There's a percentage. You want to worry about the people here. But what you got to make sure, let's say of this remaining 60%, this was a 40-20 split. Good. You're great. Don't change shit. Because 60% of people love your product and 40% don't. So when you're at a 40-60 split, every change you make to try to get one person to come over there is a change you make that might send 2 people right out of your game, right out of your product. If you're ever in a close number, leave it. The question you have to ask yourself is the amount of people you have enough to break even, to make a little profit, to make a lot of profit, to continue advancing development. If you're breaking even, you're making a little profit, you're making a lot of profit, don't change shit. Don't be greedy. Just, you have a product. Don't worry about changing. Like, Once Human changes the product every other month. Then they get some people to come back, and then they get people that leave. You're not growing your number. The question becomes, what changes do I make that increases my player count? Now, again, I'm not blind to the philosophy of, we don't care if we lose this segment of players, because that segment of players either has never bought anything or hasn't bought anything in 6 months. So for them, they might say, we feel we've milked that cow dry. We need to find these cows over here. I think Highguard brought this to light a little bit and goes more along the lines of a change that I think Valve needs to make to its user reviews. I think Valve should make players check a box that says, is this a performance review, to provide better insight on if a good game has shit performance. I don't disagree with you in concept, but I do disagree with you in maybe execution. I think Steam reviews are terrible to begin with. And the reason why I think Steam reviews are terrible to begin with is because they don't give you enough metric data. They don't give you, just like I think Steam database or Steam player charts is, they don't give you enough data. I don't want to know what your concurrent user count is. I want to know your concurrent player count, and I want to know your unique player count for every 24-hour period. If your current player count is 30,000, but the total number of unique players that have logged in today is 300,000, that tells me a different story than if your average player count is 30,000 and your unique player count is 75,000. Lets me know it lets me another another piece of data. I think it would be largely, it was difficult to get a good read on High Guard due to the number of reviews mentioning the bad performance. I mean, yes, the game was actually not great, but the reviews were skewed due to the performance issues at launch. Right. And that's an important point. That as gamers, we have got to stop making excuses or stop accepting excuses for game developers and their bad launches. If you have the same problem that Final Fantasy XIV had, Arcade had, Bless had, Elyon had, if you have the same issues other game launches have had, then I'm not going to make an excuse for you. If you have new issues we've never seen before, then I'm okay with saying, look, you didn't have any of these known have happened before issues. You ran into new issues. That's progress. There's going to be some customers that are still like, I don't give a shit if it's new. I'm upset that I'm upset that there's issues, and that's totally okay. I do see what you're saying though. It would be nice if you said performance review. Relative to that talk, does it perform shit on 10-year-old hardware or current hardware or similar my rig hardware? You can still say shit performance, but it doesn't tell me anything. There's already the Steam hardware profile survey that you can opt in and out of. I do think you're on to an idea where it would be nice if you said this is a performance review and then it auto-populated your hardware. And if you're like, well, I don't want my hardware publicly displayed, well, then you can't leave a performance review. Because if you're not gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this game runs like shit on a 3090 with a 5950. Well, yeah, no shit. Your game runs like shit because you're running it on a workstation, not a gaming machine. 5950 isn't a gaming chip. The 5900 is. But that would also help the developer. Like, I remember, and this is another one of those blowing smoke up my ass, and I laughed at him. When Steven said this to me, I absolutely laughed at him. I said to him, he was in my stream, and he's like, why are your graphics turned all the way down? And I was like, because your game is tearing the guts out of my 3090, so I'm on my 1080 dual boxing, because I didn't have the 4080 machine yet. And he's like, well, what do you mean? The game runs like ass on my 3090, man. I'm not going to tear the guts out of my streamer box because your game is unoptimized. So I'll run it on the 1080 at lower settings to talk about the game as background noise, and I don't give a shit what it looks like. Your son is back in school today after being oh Jesus, I wouldn't want to be suspended in your household. I can only imagine the US Navy version of, oh, you can't be in school today because you're a dumb fuck. I could only imagine the stupid prizes your son won yesterday. Because I know your household. Your son played stupid games, so he won stupid prizes. What'd you have him do yesterday? He got an attaboy? Oh, he actually got suspended for doing something good? What'd he do? That's a good point. I can see issues arising with the system change like that because the game is good but performs poorly. Should a player be able to submit a second review? Well, you can edit your reviews. Yeah, you can change your Steam review. I think what you're talking about isn't so much a review. I think what you're talking about needs to be more not a performance review. It would be kind of a performance review, but kind of a diagnostic review as well. Like you leave it shouldn't be the Steam reviews cat. I think what we should I think you're on to something. There should be a Steam reviews category and a performance review category. And I think the developer should be able to then address the performance review category and say, like, we have looked at your specific hardware, and could you please let us know if the game is now performing correctly? I think you're on to something. It would just, we would need to see what the keep them separate. So the developer, if they need more information, because I think where we've run into another not easy to identify problem is developers. Yeah, there's a way to be part of the Steam hardware survey. Well, you don't submit it. They pull it when you're logged in. It's one of... Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So... there will periodically, you will get, like once a year is what I'm seeing. Once a year, they will ask you, it'll pop a box that it'll say, would you like to allow us to collect your data? If you click no thanks, there's like an option that says no thanks, don't ask me again. If you've ever clicked the no thanks, don't ask me again, then you have to go in and you have to re-enable it. But since they already have that technology, it shouldn't be that hard for them to create a performance review category. And when you go into that, it says, well, let us grab your hardware. So then you put your review on one side and it has your hardware on the other side. So that way the developer can be like, you know what's interesting? For some odd reason, 25% of all the hardware problems people are reporting are all the 4060 graphics card. So the developer could be like, what the fuck is with 4060s? Or it could be 60% are the 10 series graphics cards. Okay, well then maybe we need to change our minimum recommended specs. But I saw somebody say it. One of the problems is, right now, there are still people, I know people that are still playing on a 770. They've never even upgraded to the 10 series graphics cards. Holy hell, man, the 770 is how old? Well, you can't be expecting that graphics card to be delivering good performance. I mean, I guess you can expect anything you want, but that's like the people that look at the dumbbells and expect to grow muscles. It's not going to happen. You got to put in the work. Like, I get it. This is going to be a terrible year to have to buy hardware. It's going to be an absolute terrible year. Not gonna bullshit anybody. It is gonna be a terrible year. But
all right, let's not bring up that.
Still arguing. He's not really.
If you haven't upgraded in the last 5 or 6 years, yeah, it's already terrible and it's getting worse. I don't disagree with you. My daughter wants a gaming machine. I'm gonna see if I can make that happen. because she got all A's. She went back to college and she got all A's. So I'll see if I can make that happen. But it's like I'm not gonna overpay. I'm not gonna overpay for hardware. I also want to apologize to the Kick support team. The Kick support team has to keep reminding me to toggle a switch in my settings. I want to say thank you to you guys, my community, for showing up in mass when I did those couple of those couple of Ashes streams. Because of my numbers, Kick reached out to me and put me into their partner program. I'm not trying to talk shit about Twitch here. I'm trying to talk legitimately about creators. Twitch is going to find themselves very, very quickly not at the top of the pile anymore, because Kick pays its streamers in its partner program hourly. And again, I'm not talking about me right now, because I do this for fun. I funnel all the money into PGN music. I like what I do. I do this for fun. But if someone's trying to make money, and I know a lot of streamers that are like low mid size, they struggle. They get together $10,000 or $15,000 as a nest egg, and then they quit their job with reliable, predictable income, and then they try to make it streaming, and they can eke out a little bit. But as a streamer, you're really relying on other people's money. If you have, like, some people were like, man, I can't believe how much you make a month streaming, and I'm like, I don't make anything, but the company does, so thanks. There were some streamers that wanted, I was helping, showing them my monthly income, and they're like, I could live on that. I was like, yeah, but what you have to understand is, if your game dries up, if you say something polarizing, you can immediately lose half your income, or more. I lost 90% of my income when I stopped covering Ashes of Creation, because I was the Ashes guy. I said, you gotta be really, really careful. Well, you could be a little less careful on Kick, because you as a streamer, you come into the channel, you buy a sub. I get $250 from you, give or take. You could watch the next 100 hours of my programming, and I never make another dime off of you. I mean, I could on Twitch if I was running ads. But no, you're a subscriber. I don't get anything for you because you don't see the ads. But if you're on Kick, you're contributing to my hourly rate every hour. So Twitch needs to recognize there is a better deal to be had for other people. Now, yeah, Kick is backed by their online gambling casinos, and I get that, and I understand. Their source of funding is different. Totally get it.
She really likes them.
But I can only imagine what Asmongold is making on Kick.
This is from the neighbors.
Linus Tech Tips had a discussion on his podcast. They discussed the idea of normalizing the behavior of buying bridge hardware that will get you by for the least amount of money until you can afford the hardware you actually want. I don't think that is a bad plan. However, that plan falls victim to the old farmer in the gloves economic example. Bridge hardware will keep you poor because the old example is a good pair of gloves costs $10 and lasts 10 years. And a cheap pair of gloves costs $3 and lasts 1 year. Well, in 10 years, the broke farmer has spent $30 on gloves because he never had the extra $7 to buy the pair of gloves that would last him 10 years. So you paid 300% over the same time span. There is something to be said about bridging hardware. Absolutely.
What is it?
But there's also something to be said about this. And this is the part that makes me unpopular as a creator. If you want a $5,000 computer, then maybe the better bet for you wouldn't be bridging hardware, but maybe the goal would be getting a part-time job on the weekends for 5 months. And I know it would suck, but maybe getting another job to fund the new computer might be the smarter play. Yeah, it's gonna suck. You're gonna spend about 5 months working, but then what you're not doing is drawing any money out of your regular income. You're like, I want to play hard. So because I want to play hard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work hard for 5 months. And then I'm not gonna have to do this again. It's also the thing I say to people where, like, you got yourself in a hole. Well, if you got yourself in a hole, you have two choices where you put your energy and your effort. You can sit in the bottom of the hole, pitching a fit and crying and whining, or you can realize you're gonna use all that energy pissing and moaning, and you're still gonna have to man up, woman up, to get out of the hole. So just dry up the tears, Buttercup, and get right to the working hard. I don't like that idea of the situation now, but I generally prefer to get by with what I have and save up for what I want. Also, hardware releases periodically, so you'll be stuck in the bridging cycle. Yeah, that's like, as I told the story, my wife, I got an upgrade on my PC, and then I upgraded my wife's PC. And then I bought my 3090 machine. And then I bought my 4080 machine. And my wife came to me and she said, "So when is my PC getting updated?" I said, "When you need it to be updated." I said, "I was on a 1080 streaming, and the 1080 I couldn't single box anymore. So I bought a streaming box, put them together. And then the 1080 wasn't giving me the performance I need, so I bought the 4080. And I bought the 4080, all bullshit aside, I bought the 4080 so that I'm not gaming on my workstation anymore." And my wife was like, "Oh, that makes sense." And a couple of months later, my wife came to me and she's like, "Okay, now I need a computer upgrade." I said, "Why do you need a computer upgrade?" She says, "Well, you bought me 3 sublimation printers, you brought me 3 heat presses, my Cricut, all this stuff." And she's like, "Now I can't do what I need to do with my Cricut gear. So can I get a new computer for that? Even if it's a workstation, because she can still play Final Fantasy XIV on the old machine." I said, "Yes, absolutely. Let's do that." So I looked at what her requirements for the Cricut were, and they're not the same as, say, video editing. So she doesn't need that type of processor, the same one that I need to edit 4K video footage. So I bought her a machine that is dual purpose, and it works. And she probably, in all reality, unless crafting stuff gets to a point where she needs an upgrade, she won't need another upgrade before we retire to Florida. And once we're in Florida, unless an amazing MMORPG comes out, my wife and mine's gaming is done. We're finished with that. We're gonna go down to, once we move to Disney, well, I wish I could move to Disney. Once we move to Orlando, I'll still be doing the politics stream, but the likelihood of me doing very much in the realm of video game streams is going to be minimal, because I'm going to pivot to being a Disney content creator. I just don't do Disney content now because I don't want to be there at the park with my kids trying to worry about filming for content. I've tried, it doesn't work, it ruins the vacation. Really though, I just need to focus on getting my money up so I can just buy a GPU whenever if I wanted to. Right. I think the other problem is we all have to stop falling victim